We are here at PACE 2022 in Laurel, Maryland, and we are going to watch SHiFT perform Battle for Bikini Bottom.
Yes, we are.
Isn't that correct? Anyway, I am here with Jared's Giants.
And I am here with Ringo Tongo.
And we are, Jesus fucking Christ. Anyway, back to SHiFT. Let's hear something from SHiFT.
So,
please.
Here we go. Yeah, this is going to be fun.
Nailed it.
Yeah, get loud. Come on. Cheer, dude. What are you guys doing? There you go.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, so the goal of this run, any percent, we're just going for 75 golden spatulas, which unlocks access to the final boss, and just by defeating the final boss, that'll be time. So should take about, around 45 minutes. What's the record for this category now? Yeah, this guy's good. He's good at the game.
Hey.
yeah, so basically, this is the hand table. So basically, if you're familiar with walking out of bounds in Battle for Bikini Bottom, you might see how this hand will take you until you back in bounds. But what SHiFT just did there actually removes that boundary. So this allows him to exploit multiple levels of the game by going out of bounds and actually just going into places that you shouldn't be able to. So that's probably like the basis of most of the, not all, but I'd say more than 50% of the exploits are involving the hand disable. And this is the first one right here, where you can just jump down into the spatula and grab it without getting grabbed by the hand. And that allows you...
Ow!
Yeah.
A lot of sequence breaking is opened up with this exploit. It's probably one of the main key things that originally drew me into the game was the non-linear pathing. And right up here is going to be the infamous hammer skip, where you manipulate the AI to stand in this position and then do a one-frame input to exploit the animations. Basically, if you can press the jump button in a very precise moment, it allows you to get an additional jump after your hit stun is finished. And that allows you to get extra height and do another level sequence break.
Hey, I'm hearing myself and the game audio in my headphones. If you guys could take that off, that'd be great. Yes, don't need more than one SpongeBob. One's already enough. We gotta collect this sock over here in this cave. This is going to be one of 10 socks that we need to trade to Patrick for one gold spatula. We're gonna do this 2 times throughout the run.
Yep. All right, so right here we got a nice little trick. He's jumping into the cutscene trigger right there and drowning in the goo, which is going to skip the cutscene. And then we're going to do a little bit of a momentum bash right here. So you see he's going to intentionally take damage, and he's going to input a bash and use that momentum and hit the trigger, and we just skip the whole puzzle. So there you go.
Yeah, and that's going to be the first sequence of Jellyfish Field.
I think isn't that the only sequence of Jellyfish Fields?
That's the only one, yeah. And this part here, we're trying to avoid Mr. Krabs to not get his text box to set up a pretty big exploit later that I'll be explaining.
Yes.
Just a moment, really. This run goes by very quickly. You'll see that downtown will be over in a flash, and then you'll get to see that. But in the meantime, we get to enjoy some pretty cool tricks we're going to show off in downtown to scale some buildings and climb some places where we shouldn't earlier than possible.
Downtown.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Yep. All right.
Hopefully should be better now.
So, downtown has been one of those levels that has just evolved just to a whole new thing compared to what it started out as. I mean, even back when, back at PACE 2019 when this was ran, I'm trying to think, what were we doing? Were we doing like OG needleless back then, or
that was?
Or did you do 100%?
That was during that was during the 100% era when we were kind of like not into any percent. Most people in the community were running 100% of the time because SBA was new.
That's
Black
true.
Lips were intimidating.
Yes.
So we did 100% the last time.
Downtown has just a ton of really cool strats that just break this level. you'll see. This is all stuff that is relatively new. And I think it has been seen in a couple of marathons before, but I'm not sure if it's been seen on GSA just yet, some of the stuff that we're going to be doing.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff is new even since the GDQ run that we did earlier this year.
Yep.
Bringing a lot of old things back that you guys might recognize if you're longtime fans of the game. These one-frame jumps up here. We'll attempt them. If they fail, we're just going to take an alternate route.
Got backups.
All right,
That's
well,
all right.
Unfortunately, yeah, you only have one shot at that. If you miss it, then you have to walk around.
Yeah, luckily there's backups, and they're still pretty cool, actually. I like seeing some of the backups that we have, just lined up in case anything goes bad in a marathon.
Yeah, at one point, many of these tricks that we're doing as alternates or backups were used in the run as the fastest strategy, but...
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the backup, but if he were to hit this, it would have been a SpongeBob platforming sequence, but this is just the safe backup. And marathons with the precise inputs are kind of volatile, but it ends up being the same thing after you obtain the spatula. It's just a little bit slower.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we're going to leave the rooftops and set up another way of getting across the rooftops as Sandy. But the first thing we're going to do is set up this trick called SpongeBob storage, which will allow us to set up another trick called SpongeBob displacement jumping, and then another trick after that called vertical momentum storage. Sounds like a lot of words, but we'll try to explain most of these tricks in the time we have.
It's jargon for funny move. You go up and then
You kind of just go up.
If you want to get technical, I'm trying to remember how. I think the way that I explained it was that stack of tikis that has the shush tikis. When you get closer to it, the height will lower and then it will expand when you get further away. So if you store the position of the sponge ball on top of the tikis when it's at its low point, and then you release the ball when the tikis have gone back to their high point, all of that space in between the two, all the displacement in between the two spaces between where you first stored it and then where you stopped storing it is converted into vertical momentum. So you can store that through loads. That's why it's called vertical momentum storage.
There's a lot of things that you can actually store through loads in this game. One of them being actually collectible item inputs. So we're actually doing that progressively through downtown. We are collecting all these wheels. Actually, not all of them. We're only going to be getting 6. But the reason we're doing that is so we can transfer that collectible, like the fact that we have the 6 collectibles, we can actually store that value through loads. And we will be doing that to actually get a spatula where there are only 6 collectibles in total.
Yep.
So it's faster to grab these 6 wheels than grabbing the 6 campers in Kelp Forest, which is what this replaces. And you'll see that pretty shortly.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny that, it's faster to collect collectibles in another level that doesn't actually give you a spatula, and instead just use those collectibles to get a spatula that comes from a different type of collectible in another level. I don't know, it's just kind of like ironic.
Pauses are strange in this game because they're only one frame, so I'm not precisely sure why.
It's complicated with the whole one frame thing and where the frames buffer. But if you guys want more technical explanations of these tricks, because we're kind of keeping this pretty relaxed right now. We've all had a pretty long day with the DC traffic and getting ready for this whole thing with technical issues. But if you want, if you guys want more in-depth explanations, you can get them on my YouTube channel. I have a lot of explanations on these tricks.
Right here, he's doing another method of the vertical momentum storage.
Allegedly.
Yeah, it's all right. We'll set it up again.
Allegedly, yeah. If it worked, he would have done it, but it didn't. SHiFT, when are you going to speedrun Luigi's Mansion, man?
Never.
All right. So, he's just going to set this up again. You'll see what I was talking about earlier. When he gets closer, he displaces it on the top, and as he rolls away, you saw right there the height went back to its original, and all of that space in between the 2 points is used as displacement, and then you can convert that into momentum. So, yeah, big jump.
We'll be going over the boss gate that actually blocks off this entire second hub, and now we have access to all of these loads in the second part of the game. And it's just, it's really cool. It's really cool that it's been always one of my favorite parts about this game, how the boss gates actually just don't exist until you want them to. It's really cool. It allows for you to actually, I mean, if you wanted to, you could go to the end levels immediately. You know, it's great. And you see that in SHiFT. But yeah, so we're just going to be going to Hub 3 here now, skipping over both of the boss gates, one with the vertical momentum storage and one with a SpongeBob tomfoolery. And now we're going to be going into SpongeBob's Dream.
Yeah, this is technically supposed to be the final level of the game that we reach, but we're getting here pretty early since the game is pretty open, as Ringo was explaining.
Yeah, this is the only one of 3 levels in the game that does not have a spatula lock on it. Those 3 being Jellyfish Fields, because obviously you get the spatula lock in the pineapple, but you also have Mermalair and you have SpongeBob's Dream. And luckily, the way that the platforms work, I apologize if
that was audible.
If that was on stream, if the echo was on stream, I apologize for that. But either way, the way that the platforms work, there's a lot of tricks that we have to get in between the islands. You'll see some of the stuff that he's doing, you know, just big sequence breaks. And it allows for these to be fast early game compared to doing, you know, something like the rest of Jellyfish Fields or anything that we may have skipped over, you know, like Goo Lagoon, for example. Yeah.
So right here, he's trying to do a damage boost into a 1-frame jump, as he just did there, which allows you to just go back, grab that spatula faster than it is to walk down the boards. But yeah, here you're going to be grabbing 2 spatulas in the same load cycle, because these blocks line up just in the perfect pattern for you to be able to like do it in this.
Oh, nice.
Cycle.
That's sick that he just got that. Yeah, it's a hard trick. That right there is dependent on making a cycle, so you have to do the first 1-frame jump fast enough to actually make that cycle, and then you have to hit another 1-frame jump. Yeah, it's a hard trick. So, nice job, man. Really proud of you.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, clap for him. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. So yeah, lots of very like clench damage boosts in Dream, but it's a quick level. You're just in and out if it goes well. And now we'll be doing the best level, Krusty Krab, where you have fun, kill some enemies.
The best level.
Yeah, absolutely.
We need to make sure we have 3,000 shiny objects leaving here, which we do, fortunately.
Yes.
To activate this next exploit, where we're going to be purchasing the first Krusty Krab spatula more than one time.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Allegedly.
Allegedly. I mean, it'll still work, but yeah.
Yep.
What he tried to do right there is jump into the spatulas, so he's collecting 2 at once. That way he doesn't need to watch double animations, but hey. So
It is what it is.
essentially how that just worked right there is that Mr. Krabs exists in the 3rd hub because he gives you the mission for clearing out the Krusty Krab. So technically the game just let you purchase a spatula from him, but it kind of didn't because it still thinks that he's in hub 1 and you never initially talked to him. So the game kind of just resets how many spatulas it gives you, so you get an extra one. That's kind of I'm assuming that's kind of how it works. That's like my, you know, not technical explanation of it.
Now we can fight the first boss.
Yep.
Absolute banger content.
Banger.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just vibing out at PACE 2022.
Yeah, truly, we're here. Watching
Yeah,
the...
thanks to our friends at GSA for letting us come out and do this in such late notice.
Always.
I just got through a very long subathon where I was not even able to play the game, but these guys are very accommodative. Us showing up late in some extent with the whole traffic situation today in DC, Maryland, Virginia area is pretty rough, but you know, cool that they let us come out and do this, and they've been very patient with us, so thank you. Shout out to GSA.
Yeah, we appreciate
On
you
the
guys.
stream.
Yeah, seriously. Thank you guys. You know, it's just it's a very interesting weekend we have. And personally, I literally just got here. Like I walked in and then sat down, and now we're playing.
Yeah.
I've been here for
This
probably...
guy was about to get on a bus and
Go
back to
home.
Xanadu.
Yeah, I was like literally about to board a train to go home. But then I was like, you know what?
He broke down in tears and thought about Battle for Bikini Bottom and came back.
And like after the police let me go, and I felt it was just, you know, my mind was clear, and now we're here. But, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Anyway, Yeah, you know, we're just chilling out. Disclaimer:
now we're just
the
vibing.
police did not detain me there. I just want to make that clear.
There was a joke, yeah. It was
yeah,
just a gag. It was a gag. So yeah, we're doing Robo Sandy. Kind of just clowning because this is a lot of AI manipulation. If you don't know about this fight, there's not much to it.
Basically, I mean, you're just trying to make the AI take the least amount of time to complete all the animations that it needs to go through.
It's kind of a pace breaker in between two parts of the run, which are otherwise pretty crazy and very stacked and a lot of stuff to explain.
It's a pace breaker.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny, dude.
Yeah. Were you saving that one? Or what?
Yeah. Did you think of that one on the ride here? Or?
Dude, I can't even remember how to play this game.
Nice.
Clearly.
Yeah. Look at this. Clearly.
I'm trying not to complain about the delay, but like, you know, you guys are forcing my hand.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. So he's supposed to be manipulating this AI and doing the fight allegedly, but as you can see.
I mean, yeah.
It's always something with SHiFT, man. It's just, yeah.
What I enjoy.
What are you even on about? Does anybody know who this guy is?
The delay.
I don't know. We just kind of let him in because we felt bad, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I think he stole my badge.
Yeah, well, what can I say? So, anyways, I just want to put a little quick plug in there. Tomorrow night, I think it's 10:30, but I'm not positive. You should come to the Luigi's Mansion run. I'll be commentating
I don't think that anybody asked about that.
Yeah, well, it's the event, so I think I have the right to advertise
Okay.
what I want to, thanks. But
I want the event to be better, though.
maybe your opinion will be taken into consideration
They
next
should,
time.
they should kick you off the couch.
So,
I'm going to ask HG to put me on instead.
tomorrow, Halloween, Luigi's Mansion. You should watch it. I'm gonna be. That's HD Lax and Bliss are doing a 2P1C run. I don't think 2P1C has ever been done at a GSA event, unless I'm mistaken. Somebody can
It could
correct
be
me.
huge.
But yeah, it'll be fun. So
Stick around for the future events.
little Halloween
Updates.
Luigi's Mansion stuff, other runs to come, tournament stuff, Minecraft 64.
So now we're going to be entering Goo Lagoon here. And this is probably my favorite level as far as exploits go.
It is very cool.
Very zany.
You know, quirky. It's a little bit different, but it knows it. But it makes it, you know, cool that it knows it.
Just like every college student.
I'm losing game audio.
Oh yeah, it just got real quiet.
I can't hear the game. Spooky.
That's all right. I'll make the noises.
We got
Maybe
so,
if we talk really quietly, the game won't start speaking.
True. Also, so the reason we do Goo Lagoon, which is a Hub 1 level now, after reaching all these hubs, is because now we have the Bubble Bowl. And the Bubble Bowl is a very powerful tool. Not only is it one half of the Cruise Boost formula,
Whoa,
but...
whoa, 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 what is a cruise boost? Let's not get...
Okay, we'll get
We're
to
getting
that.
too
We're-
far ahead of
Nobody-
ourselves.
Not a single person here knows what Cruise Boost is.
Yeah, so we'll learn about that later.
We'll also be seeing the first usage of
I've never
Bubble
heard
Bowl.
that term before.
I haven't either. It was just so out of place. I can't believe you use terminology like that we don't know about. I mean,
I guess I'm just so
pretty
far
offensive.
down the rabbit hole where I forgot people don't know what Cruise is.
I mean, yeah, you have to consider that he did just get here like 20 minutes ago, so like, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, we've had 18 minutes on the timer, and I've been here for
we just
19.
looked up commentator on Craigslist, and he was the first listing that came
Yeah, I
up,
know.
so we're rolling with it.
I really
Hey,
appreciate the opportunity.
GSA guys, if I can get like the game audio in my headphones again, that might be like good for now until it starts working again.
It's a bit choppy right now. I think they're working on it, though. So we're coming up to a pretty notorious game-changing trick where we actually can just get infinite currency.
Yes.
It's very loud, so get ready for that.
Well, there's no audio, so maybe it's not loud.
It's kind of cutting in and out, so this might sound nightmarish.
Yeah,
So,
actually, that's true.
Yeah, just
You want me to explain the details of how this works?
by all means.
Alrighty, so he's trying to throw this stone tiki into a very precise spot in this skee ball machine. You can see he didn't like where he had it right there, so
Not a good spot.
he's gonna take it out. He wants to get it in a perfect spot. Now, you can do this with multiple tikis, but it is fastest if you get a really good setup with just one tiki. Obviously, you only have to grab one. So by lodging it into the correct place in the skee ball machine, you can then switch to SpongeBob and bowl a bowling shot directly into the tiki, and it will kind of get stuck, and it'll just infinitely move in and out of the trigger that grants you 30 shiny objects. So there you go. Hopefully this sticks. SHiFT probably knows better than me. It looks good, so I think we'll be all right. Yeah, get your 30s in the chat.
Very cool audio.
Yeah, everybody likes this.
We do what we must, you know?
You think they can even hear us right now?
Probably not.
Probably not. Alrighty, so if you can hear us through all the, all the noise, basically this is all just kind of on autopilot now. He can just wrap up the rest of the pier because he needs to take time to have the shinies count up to where they need to be anyways. So it kind of just works out. Just pretty much doing all of this stuff for free, just while getting a ton of currency.
We're multitasking. We're doing the level while also
Yeah,
finding currency.
the 30s are moving quickly enough for me to know that I will have enough to do this next skip here. All right. Should really try to account for the delay on that.
All right.
Well, we still have enough. We have enough
Yep.
shiny objects to buy everything we need for the rest of the run now.
Yes. All right.
Feel free to turn the audio back on for the viewers at home.
Yeah, feel free to turn your audio up now.
The audio
if
is
you
solid.
turned it down.
Yeah, it's over.
If you want to hear SpongeBob laugh really, really loudly, just crank it all the way up.
All right, so doing another one of those little funny cutscene skips like I talked about in Jellyfish Fields earlier. This one is activated by hitting that little ticket booth and by drowning in the goo once again during the cutscene. You can just skip it.
And now, much like how we got here with the Sponge Glide floating trick, we are going to continue backtracking through the beginning of the level from the later point, which we're at now. And you'll see that's a big trend with a lot of these levels. We will start from the end and go to the beginning. It's a nice way of exploiting the game's open design, which are self-contained stories, but the fact that they are open allows us to turn back around and go from the end of each storyline, each separate individual storyline from all these worlds, and go back to the beginning. Whereas most linear games, you just have to follow a set path, and there would be some kind of a loop back that opens up the whole world when you reach the end of it.
There's a lot of different things scattered throughout the levels, and just exploitable.
Yep. Yeah.
So here we're going to be doing my absolute favorite thing in the world.
Oh, it's so fun.
Yeah, more or less, there's a button, it's invisible, and it's over that cliff. He knows it, you know it, everybody knows it.
We all know it.
And he's going to try and hit it before he has the cruise missile.
And he did.
And he really did that. He really did that. So,
Good job, man.
yeah, that's going to be
Thanks, man.
an early spatula. Technically supposed to be obtained either by Patrick or... Actually, yeah, it is just supposed to be
Yeah, it's his little
Patrick.
secret
Yeah.
little level on the side.
It's funny because that button, it's supposed to be purchased, like, it comes out of the goo if you purchase a clam, but it just stays there.
Hitbox is always there, it's just not visible.
It's
until
just
you
the
pay.
model itself isn't actually there. So the way we used to do that was just hitting it with a cruise missile, which we'll find out what that is after the next boss fight, but...
Later in the route, though. And yeah, Rock Bottom is a very classic level. It's really where it starts heating up, I'd say. Just a cute little damage boost into another one. It just allows you to go over here. And right now, this is basically like, we're in the mid-game right now, right? So it's like we have all of the currency we need. We have the bubble bowl. We just can't do cruise boosting yet. So right now, we're getting all the spatulas that are fast enough to get without the need for cruise boosting. And we're just going to be doing that until we have enough to go and get 40, which is the prerequisite that you need to get to the boss gate that allows you to get the cruise missile. Yeah. Today has just been a very, very fun day. Really glad that, once again, glad that GXA has hosted this event. I'm just thankful to be here. So thank you for everyone who's watching.
I thought you were about to go on about like the whole like travel situation. But genuinely, we've been having fun as well. Like at the event, everything outside of the event's been pretty rough though.
Eh.
Yeah.
we're just in the moment going for this right now. You know, I'm just thankful that anyone who is here right now, thank you very much for giving your time to watch this, because this is our very, you know, odd,
Obscure.
It's our quirky little hobby.
It's just you know, this game is a very important part of my life, and the fact that it has an audience at all is super cool. So always got to be thankful for that.
Yeah, agreed. Absolutely.
So yeah, Sand Mountain is you know,
Over.
It's over. It's
Yeah,
over.
any percent's pretty quick with these. We usually just get like 1 or 2 spatulas and then we head on. But we're going to come back to a lot of these levels later, because you'll see, as they were mentioning, the cruise boosting exploit and the cruise bubble move. They can be used later to make some of these parts that we're skipping now faster for later. So not to nerd out too much, but this game is really cool compared to a lot of other games that are just linear platformers where you have the ability to backtrack and make that backtracking faster by sacrificing time, doing some stuff earlier, which would be faster if we were doing it later, but we need the spatulas to unlock the power-ups that we need to do stuff later. So there's a whole balancing act where we have to make sure that we're not sacrificing too much time by doing some of these spatulas before the 40 mark, and then saving the ones that can be done the absolute fastest for after. So this game has a lot of moving spatulas around and moving the socks that we mentioned earlier that we trade for spatulas. A lot of these routing decisions are pretty complex and can honestly change the entire game from the ground up and only save just a few seconds. If you compare what we're doing now to what we were doing in GDQ earlier this year, not a lot of time has been saved, but a lot of things have changed.
Yep.
And that's the beauty of the game, it just keeps changing.
Yeah, this game, it's just gotten to the point where it's like, you know, you're adding insane strats to save minuscule amounts of time, but like even a second in this game is big just because of how optimized everything has gotten. And there's still a lot of, you know, leeway left.
And most of the time when there's a world record in this game, it's usually by like 2 or 3 seconds.
Yep.
Sometimes if you're lucky, 6.
You pop off sometimes though. I mean, we see the occasional 15, 20s. Like if you've got, if you're sitting on
pretty rare,
strats.
though.
Yeah. If you're sitting on strats that you just haven't PB'd with for a while, sometimes it comes out. I mean, every once in a while,
I'd
there's
say currently
like
we got something like that going on as well, man.
Yeah.
I was really trying to get that 42 before the marathon, the subathon that I was doing started, but I think that the 42 is coming now that we're fully back in swing.
Yep.
We were getting close, man. So a lot of stuff going on with this game right now. A lot of cool stuff. And like I said, for those of you at home who are interested in hearing what we got to talk about, it is genuinely impossible to explain everything in detail during a marathon, and that's why we're trying to just keep this chill, you know.
Yep.
We've all been running around all day, having fun at pace. You guys should definitely consider coming out next year if you haven't come out this year. We're back in full swing for the first time in a few years, having a live event. You know, it's great to be back, honestly. You should definitely come. But if you're at home and you're interested in this game for the meantime, definitely check out some of those world record explained videos that I've got. They'll help explain all the little small details that we didn't get to cover today amidst us having fun and bantering.
If we were to try and explain everything, you would actually just turn the stream off because it would be unwatchable. You would just be like, blabbing, and you'd be like, wow, these fucking dweebs. No, thank you. But yeah, it's a game that has a lot going on in the background that's not necessarily visible.
It's just fun to watch. It's a colorful, bright, optimistic game with a lot of cool stuff in it.
Yeah, it's also it's fast-paced. You know, I say that during one of the slowest levels, but honestly, this level has a lot going on. This level.
I enjoy the mix-ups.
Yeah,
it stays fresh. If it were fast the whole time, probably wouldn't.
Yeah.
Be as crazy when we do the crazy stuff later.
Because like I can tell you from experience that like when you're here and you're ahead, it is so scary. Because then you're about to go and do the end game, and it's basically our version of going upstairs and like about to do like 50, I would imagine. Not to compare ourselves to Mario 64, there's like a lot of time into their stuff, but it's just like the.
Not to say I haven't.
Absolutely, yeah. But the tension of getting both power-ups and executing cruise boosts. It was always tough for me.
I think speedrunners have like that universal spot in their game where they're like, okay, this is like, it's do or die right now, pretty much. The run's either going to live here or it's going to collapse. I feel like that's just, yeah. Once you get past Industrial Park, this is kind of just your
Especially this.
moment
this
to chill.
is a huge run killer for world record paces.
Yeah,
you can lose like up to 8 seconds for not getting good spins on this, but it looks like this is going to be okay to start off.
It's
Not terrible, but I'm standing in a very specific spot here when he spins to get him to turn in the same direction every time.
Yep.
More or less just like trying to battle a DVD logo that's bouncing off the corners. We're really just trying to get him to land in a good spot to hit him. And sometimes it works pretty well, sometimes not as much.
yeah.
It's a pretty volatile segment, even though it's not literal RNG.
It's just like it's kind of just, I wouldn't even describe it RNG as much as it's just luck, where it's like your setup can be relatively the same, but just depending on where everything is at that time, like he might not land where you want him to. It's like, I don't know. It's not consistent. It's not 100% consistent, but it does allow for things to be a little bit more predictable. But like SHiFT said, I mean, if you get an extra couple of spins around the arena, you could be losing 10 seconds or more if it's just really bad. So, yeah, we try not to hope for that. Like, even that right there is kind of unfortunate.
It's come a long way. We used to just not understand it at all, and we would complain. And
Yep. It would land in the
Yeah,
back.
you guys back in the day, back when you guys were mostly active, like, was it like 5 or 6 years ago? Man.
Yeah.
I remember losing like 35 seconds and just being like, the game.
Yeah, we used to just stand on the left side.
Yeah, we would just kind of hope for the best. This is my personal favorite spatula right here. Just the first cruise boosting level. As you can see, he's moving a lot faster than base movement speed, and that's because we have both power-ups. And when you activate them at the same time, it gives you a massive movement speed increase. And it's a game-defining exploit. It's why we're here today, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is,
Shout out to you guys, by the way, for coming in, like even just coming out to this event. I know that you guys don't really speed run much these days, but it is really great having you guys here again 3 years later, commentating the same run. Same,
Yeah.
but very different. Matter of fact, for old time's sake, let's just, let's go for it.
alrighty. Oh yeah, he's doing this. Yeah, I saw him practicing this. Yeah. Let's go.
Let's go.
I had to make sure I still had it. I was thinking about it, but we had to.
We're doing the Texas Sponge Glide.
The mind killer. actually.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna float over to this acorn. We're going to cruise boost.
Yeah.
I remember.
It's crazy how slow this is, man. But
I
it used to
know.
look so cool back in the day.
It was also
I
the
love
literal
this game,
last
man.
thing you would have to do.
There are like 30 different ways of doing that level.
Yeah, some of you guys might remember a famous SHiFT quote during that sequence in one of his world records. I might not be able to repeat it on stream,
But it's a when you moment.
if you know, you know.
This bash is so deceptive. I don't know.
It's honestly, it's the delay right now, but like it's okay. Like we're all having fun.
Yeah, more cruise boost zaniness. You can actually increase your speed of your cruise boost depending on how you do it. Oh, sorry, we're not actually doing that right. You know, I always,
Were you thinking 100%?
I always think of LCDs for
Yeah.
gate 3, but right here we're gonna be doing. You want to actually explain this one?
Yeah, so pretty much it's what we call an L bowl. So I forgot exactly how it works, but basically by squishing himself in between two very close platforms, it's kind of gonna squeeze him out and try to displace him at very fast speed. So right there, by pressing B and L, which are funny enough the cruise boost inputs, he'll actually let out a bowling shot that will help him to capture that displacement speed. And then this track is just a big U, so by starting at the beginning and just aiming to the right like he did, you just go straight to the end. Big time saver. Yeah, it's really cool. You get 2 spatulas out of this too, one for the time challenge and one for just beating the slide. So
Very efficient.
it is efficient. It's the only other slide that is really, worth it.
I mean, gate 2 is a lot of fun.
Yeah. This one this is like ancient stuff.
I can't believe that this is fast again.
This has changed so much
Yeah.
compared to what it used to be. So, yeah, I mean, you're going to see some crazy stuff. This is what you were talking about. Now you can explain most of these.
Basically, this, if you cruise boost on certain areas, like ledges or like invisible geometry, and you input the exploit as you're like falling off the geometry, it just gives you like stupid movement speed to the point where you can just do like this. I mean, like this is obviously faster than intended. But like, you know, it kind of blows normal cruise boosts out of the water. For the majority of the time I played the game, these were not a thing. And when they were, it literally felt like I was a caveman and I just like discovered fire. I was just like, oh wow.
It's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, it is kind of like that. Because you know something for so long, and then you find, like, oh, you can actually exploit this thing that already breaks the game even further. And, yeah, it allows for stuff like that. I mean, the first time I saw you do that, I think I was in your chat, SHiFT, and I was like, how is this even possible?
I feel like people are always asking that all the time with this game, man.
Yeah.
That's just the classic. People come to my chat after not watching for like a month, and they're like, I've never seen that before.
Yeah, literally, even the people who know like so much about this game and how it works on a technical level, it's like you can still be shocked at what is possible.
That's why I love like just reminiscing about the stuff we've done and the cool things that we're currently doing in the runs during these marathon type things, because there are better times to explain literally everything, you know. I think that most people just want to hear, you know, just like the fan service for the game, the people who help build it to what it is, just talking about it, hanging out.
Yeah. This is a
level that's changed a lot.
I was going to say that. Yeah, this is a level that's changed quite a bit. We got rid of 2 of the puzzles in this level, and we just do this nice little movement instead. It's, you know, just some cool stuff to see. It went from this right here is sick.
We labbed this out in like the old using the cheat codes to get the cruise bubble and bubble bowl early stuff that we used to do back in the day.
Yep.
As like a little side category. And now it's made its way back into any percent for the first time. I think around 2 years ago we started doing this in any percent. That was a huge win for the run. Really cool stuff.
If you know anything about the speedruns for this game, I don't think we've done one yet. So yeah, there are some invisible debug triggers left in the game above the spawn locations on certain bosses. So Prawn is one of them, Dutchman is another one, and then the final boss is actually, that one's been known for a very long time.
And since we have contact with the developers ever since the first GQ run when one of them reached out to me, we actually do know that they left them in the game because they thought that nobody would find them.
Yep. It's funny because for the Prawn one and for the Dutchman one, technically for Prawn, you're not supposed to be able to get out of bounds, so that one makes sense. Dutchman, the hand prevents you from getting up there normally, so that one I can also see. But for the final boss, I feel like
a lot of kids found that by accident.
Yeah, it's not uncommon to get flung up in the air because of just the way that the platforms work with the momentum.
It was found by accident.
Yeah. So I think it's kind of funny that they left that one in because it technically is still inbounds. So anybody could just, you know, stumble across it on accident if they did the right thing.
Probably just didn't account for the fact that you can get that much momentum.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like finicky and jank, just like everything else in this game. I mean, look at what he did.
We just skipped an entire puzzle that a lot of people get very frustrated with, but
it's another one of those.
Assured, it's not as easy as it looks.
Another one of those L bowls.
And now we're going to be snagging these badges.
They don't feel too bad. And if you ever wanted to learn how to do these things on your own, you could always just check out the tutorials I have as well. They're very easy to follow. It's a fun game to just mess around with.
All right. Back to rock bottom we go.
No, that's a cool one. You better explain that.
Oh, yeah. Would you care to? You don't know what happened.
Sorry, guys. I was looking at chat. What were we talking about?
It's so basically what he just did right there is, I think that is CCA.
Yes,
that is CCA, right?
God,
you are correct.
Okay.
You are correct.
He hit all the buttons by hitting all the buttons, dude. We're so far out of the loop.
I'm literally a troll.
I'm so happy that you're here, though.
I've kind of got it from January, though.
You guys are valid, for sure. You guys have put your time into the game.
CCA, yes. Basically, by going to a level in which he has the collectibles for, he can warp to another level like he did right there, and that happens to be in the zone for where you would actually go and talk to Mrs. Buff and, you know, tell her that you got all the paintings for the level. So by, you know, holding L on the first frame that you spawn in, or actually he just jumped, so you can just do an input that will kind of like freeze the game on the first frame of load in. Yeah, you can jump into the trigger and it'll actually just trick the game into thinking that you got all the collectibles. So that was rough. I apologize. I wasn't ready to explain that, but I tried. Dude, we gave it a shot.
It's just a game, man.
We gave it a shot.
It is what he did.
Yeah,
you know?
just a game, bro. Stop taking it so seriously.
So here we have the museum.
Dongle I could borrow, by the way. I forgot my dongle.
Dude, I forgot my dongle too. If anyone has a dongle that Jared could borrow, just let us know.
Yeah, the dongle. Anyways, just a little inside.
What's your favorite dongle, guys? iPhone or Android?
Yeah, what kind of dongles do you like?
I like the broken dongle under my car seat, my Camry with 200,000 miles on it. Anyway, we're going to be grabbing this slide spatula by just hitting that hitting that button with the bubble, which is, I mean, there's so many buttons that you can just press with other moves where it's like blatantly you're supposed to do it a certain way. Some buttons can be pressed by like multiple things, and some buttons can only be pressed by like a very specific attack, and that's because multiple developers worked on different levels throughout the game.
Yeah, it's
a good
really,
fact
really
to know.
cool that, I mean, I'm sure that most people know at this point that I was able to go to the studio where they made the remake of this game a couple of years back and play test the game. That was a few years back now, wow.
Yeah.
I was able to play test the game before it was even in beta, I would say. Very, very early. And they said that like the development style that they were going with was, you know, like, as they described it to me, it sounded very similar to what they were doing back in 2003 with this game. And that just tells me these guys were ahead of their time. Delegating different levels to different people. When you're doing something like that, you really need like a very passionate manager for the design. Otherwise, you know, it's hard to. You guys ever write one of those group essays in like high school or college, and you have to have one person go over it to put in one voice? If you don't have that kind of guy when you're working on a game like this, like it just won't even work.
Yeah.
So these guys love what they made, man. You can just tell by playing it. It's really a truly great game.
Yep. So that was a pretty cool section. That was another LCB section. That's changed quite a bit. We used to do this level like entirely backwards, but now we kind of do it like semi-backwards. We're doing this part backwards, but we get the intended spatula first.
Yeah, nothing is really just like straightforward with the game anymore.
It's like, it's all over the place, but it is cool. The movement looks cool.
Kelp is a similar concept to Goo Lagoon in the sense where we're just basically watching loading screens and spatula animations after doing.
This was one of the first big sequence breaks ever found as well. I think this was found like before even 2013. You guys should check out the Battle for Bikini Bottom speedrun history videos if you haven't checked those out, by the way. They explain the whole story all the way up to the point where these guys came in and we got into GDQ. You know, like us three were some of the OGs. And you get to see a lot of that. If you're enjoying this commentary in the game, you should definitely check those out. They're a wild ride.
If you know about the super acquaintances, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good times, but hey.
The international.
Game still lives on.
More like tri-state.
It's kind of crazy that, 6 years later, we're still doing,
we're still doing marathons. We're still showing off the game.
Yeah, we're still swearing by this game like we did day one, so, yeah.
There's not many like it.
That is for sure.
And I'd like to give a shout out to Red Moss 101, Willie Swagger, and every single other person, Chris the Fast, all of you.
Yes.
Like
Fuff.
118. Yeah, absolutely.
Hazel, AJ Johnson, all of you. I'm not kidding. Like, thank you. Konasumi, thank you.
Oh, Kona. I love you, Kona. I love that guy. I mean, I love all of them, but yeah, Kona was a big part of what this game was early on. He helped, bring a lot of attention to it, so we appreciate him for that. I mean, yeah. Anyways, here we are. The final stage in the speedrun, not the final stage in the game, but this is the final full stage in the speedrun. This has seen, this has survived the test of time. I feel like a lot of this stuff that we do in Dutchman's is still relatively similar to how we were doing it years ago.
Yeah, it got optimized pretty quickly.
Yeah. There's a couple of things that are different here and there. Movement options are relatively different, but overall, spatulas have stayed the same. This spatula right here, though, I mean, that spatula is a journey. Let's just put it that way. Between lag clips and OG GCC, if you know about.
Yeah, OG was pretty rough.
The original needleless route, that was tough. But it kind of makes me mad watching runs of this now because GCC is so easy. Like you don't even clip into it anymore, but you practically just like get pushed slightly into it. Yeah, right here. He's just gonna bash on top of it, and it pushes him like down enough to grab it. Before you had to do like an elbow, perfectly timed, go into the cage, set it up. it was
But
terrible.
thank God.
There are plenty of other challenging tricks now to quench your thirst.
There is, but that's like one of my favorite tricks of all time, just because of like,
It's very nostalgic to me as well.
yeah, the win or lose scenario where it's like last thing you're doing in a run. If you're on a good pace, you might just choke it.
Pretty infamous.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my personal favorite time for the gameplay, personally.
Yeah.
Leading up to one of the best times for the community was our first run here at Pace back in the day when things were really starting to ramp up. Rehydrated was just only a couple of months away from being announced.
Yep.
And yeah, then we had the pandemic, but you know,
We're
back
back.
now. Yeah.
We are back, and it's good to be back. It's good to be doing this again.
You guys should come out to Pace next year, man. Those of you watching from home.
I do want to advertise as well. There is still registration open at the door, so
True.
if
actually.
you're in the area and you have any interest in stopping by, checking out the venue, meeting some people, you can still register at the door, and I know registration is still available online as well. So I'm sure there's information probably down in the bio of the page. I'm not positive on that.
Yeah, and I
but-
decided that as well. Like, I'm going to stay an extra day, so
Yeah.
I'll probably be at the venue tomorrow morning. For those of you who are like around and you
Yep.
want to come stop by, I'm happy to say hi. You know, check out the movie merch if you got any.
Yeah.
Anybody got the movie merch? I'm sure there are a lot of movie emotes in chat after our movie extravaganza. After all these years of begging me to play the game, we finally did it for a very long period of time. No. Might not be the place, but I gotta appreciate the gratitude because the people who love Battle for Bikini Bottom are a big part of the success of that marathon. So I gotta thank those of you who are watching and supporting today. I really appreciate you guys for essentially just giving me a future, really. After all this grinding for this game that you guys all love. Ooh. All
guy
right,
did not
for old
find
time's sake,
Konosak.
once again.
The Konosak. He's actually
Yeah.
he's actually doing Konosak.
I have no idea where I missed it.
Yeah, I mean, you're asking the wrong person. I can't.
None of us know how to play this game anymore.
No, we're so far removed from this, and here we are.
Well, when I get home, the first thing I'm doing is booting up and going for that 42.
Yeah, well, we hope you get that, man. We really do.
Yeah. Yeah, this is one of those things that we've been trying to push back into the end of the game ever since I first started playing. We had this at the end of the game at the first, and then we moved it back to the beginning.
Yep.
And now it's back in the end, but it's got style now.
Yep. Yeah, that one's nice. Alrighty, so you remember the debug triggers. This one's fairly easy. There you go. All right,
I'm surprised it delayed.
time to do some neurosurgery. We always like the brain surgery. I'll just let this man.
Yeah, I love a
finish it
speedrun
out.
that ends off with a bang.
Yep. So once again, just take the time to thank GSA for putting this event together as per usual. You know,
And
they're
it's
always-
not over yet.
It's
Guys,
not over.
Stick around.
Oh,
we
it's
got a lot of
it's
great games
literally,
coming up.
we are on day one, my friends.
Yes, GSA is always doing great things for the speedrun community, so we appreciate you guys, everybody who's working behind the scenes, you know, who's been accommodating for us. We appreciate it. We're coming up on time.
And time.
Nice.
The 47:30.
Nice job, man. Good run.
That's pretty close to what we did in GDQ, actually, isn't it? That's like only a couple of seconds off, maybe.
Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, it's
Pretty close.
for a showcase run, hey.
Oh, I'm not worried about that. Don't worry. I
Always.
just find it interesting that, like,
Yeah, it's always.
pretty, the comparison of the very laid-back, last-second planned thing versus the, like, hardcore, you know,
Yeah.
scripted thing
Oh,
that
yeah.
you and Shoy helped me
Yeah.
with. Like, it's funny how at the end of the day we came out with the same time.
Yep.
Yeah, the game's in my blood, man.
So thank you,
You guys
everybody.
too.
Thank you, everyone in chat who's been spamming emotes. I've been watching, so I appreciate all you guys coming out and giving us hype and, you know, being there for the community and us. And, you know, it means a lot to Ringo and I as well that you guys are, like, excited for us commentating. I know that. So, like, thanks for not forgetting about us either,
Yeah.
you know.
No, a lot of us, like, we all had second thoughts about coming out here. Like, I was just getting off of just, like, not sleeping and not playing the game for, like, almost 3 months. And Jared, like, he just had a vacation. He was tight on money. He wasn't sure. Ringo, you know, he had to go back to get back to school, and he had, like, all this transportation stuff to deal with. But at the end of the day, the three of us were able to come here and show you guys this game because we know you guys love this game. Even after all these years, you guys still love watching it over and over. That's why we're here for you.
That is why we're here.
It's a speedrunning event, man. It's for the community.
Of course.
And you guys got to come out next time.
Yes.
Next
please.
year. I'm going to talk about it a lot more next time leading up to it. But yeah, because of the short notice stuff, if you guys still want to come, admission's at the door.
Yep.
Happy to meet you. Love to meet you guys.
So I guess we can wrap up now. Thanks again, GSA. Once again, thanks again for putting on pace.
Yeah,
thanks
you
for
guys
having
are
us.
awesome.
We appreciate it a lot. I just want to give one final shout out. Donations do go towards benefiting urban arts. So if you do want to donate, just know
Very good point.
that is where your money will go. So we appreciate any donations that come in. It means a lot. And yeah, I think that's it. So until next time, we will see you guys then. Thanks again for watching.
Thanks very much.
Movie forever.